Hello everybody, welcome back to Collecting and Hobbies. Today we're going to do a three-part wave review. We're going to do Sarko Plank, Kanan Jarrus, and his wave mate and Padawan, Ezra Bridger. Now this is a review I did a long time ago. Like over a year ago. They got lost on my memory card. Memory card got damaged. So these figures are all from the Force Awakens assortment. And they all come with a little Build-A-Piece. So we're also going to do the Build-A-Piece review. So here we go. Now as far as Sarko Plank goes, let's get Ezra's lightsaber all the way. Oops. Alright, had to get that picked up. Okay, so here we go with Sarko Plank. This guy is a background character that is in The Force Awakens. He's not very noticeable, but if you look carefully, you'll see him. I think he's in the Maz Kanata castle scene. I really don't remember. But as far as the sculpting goes on this particular figure, it's it's really good, especially for a 5 POA. Now, this is from the basic assortment, obviously. But, I mean, there's a lot of different colors on here. A lot of wash, paint wash, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm trying to get this stupid thing to focus. It always likes to focus on the background. But, I mean, his head isn't really movable. It is a separate piece that's put on there. But even if it was, I mean, there's these separate pieces that are all probably glued down to him, and it's all like molded together, so you can't really move this. But he has, arm articulation and legs. You sit down. Looks like a lot like the Emperor or the Anakin Skywalker figure from the 1980s, and does have that leg thing going on in there, a little sculpting inside. But in general, the aesthetic of the figure, he's not really a real popular character, but he is an alien. So for you people like Cantina type characters, background characters, obscure characters, whatever you want to call them, he comes with a really cool blaster and good detail on that. There's a lot of sculpting detail. It might even be there's a little bit of golden wash going on in here. So Hasbro really did a lot for this figure. For an obscure character, they put a lot of effort into this. And of course, you don't have to worry about him standing up, because that's the only good thing about these figures that have robes that are sculpted like that. Never have to worry about it standing up. Now, if he was a more popular character, it'd be a little bit more impressive, I guess. But, I mean, if you were to stand this up on your desk or something at work or school or home or wherever, there's a little bit of scratching down there. It's like not quite molded right, but like chipping away, kind of like the plastic's coming off. It's kind of weird. I didn't notice that before. Curse of the unboxing videos. But this has, a great amount of detail. I'm not sure if all that line's supposed to be there either. 52521. This is made in third quarter of 2015. But in general, this has got a lot of good details, a lot of sculpting details, a lot of paint apps, and it's actually one of Hasbro's, I'd say one of their finest as far as the 5 POAs and Force Awakens, simply because they put that's a greatly detailed figure. The fact that this line goes all the way, I don't know why that's there. I don't know what's up with that. If that's a molding thing, or if that's supposed to be robes. I don't know what the heck that's supposed to be, but in general, he's a pretty good figure. I don't know if it's like Darth Vader or the Emperor. You probably want to display it more because most people are like, "Who's that? What is that?" It's just a weird looking turtle shell head dude, or maybe it's not a dude. Who knows? But it's just a quick review on over the whole wave, so I can do it all one time. Now, as Bridger, of course, I went through several of these looking for a good one. I bought like 4 of them at a time, and I just could not find a good one. This one has got paint app problems all over it. There's like brown on his belly. There's missing brown on his shoulder. It's just, and it's not just this one either. This is the best one I could find. I mean, it's on his feet like that. There's missing paint on his feet, especially right there. I really ought to start doing this. I was trying to figure out a better place to do this with better lighting, but it's so uncomfortable to do it over by the lamp. But I mean, I don't know. This isn't painted all the way. I didn't really notice all this stuff before. I mean, I saw a little bit of it, but this helmet is really, really tight, by the way. Some of these are packaged with the helmet on. Some of them are packaged with the helmet to the side. It's just their basic figure that came out before. These are just repacks. The Ezra and the Kanan figures are just repacks from the Mission series or regular series. But, they did a good job on his head. That's about the only part they did good. I guess the tampograph or whatever you call it on the back is pretty alright. It's like much thicker here and kind of swirly. It's just this one. All the Ezras that I've seen in the Force Awakens set, they're just really crappy as far as paint jobs. I guess they don't care because they're for kids or. Now this is the lightsaber that he comes with that is not removable. If you buy him with the speeder bike, it does detach. It has a detachable blade. And of course his hands are so incredibly tiny that he could hold this very, very well. I don't even have to show you that probably because I want to show you the build-a-weapon accessories in a minute. So he's all bad as far as paint. Now, as far as overall general, well, normally I do that for individual reviews. Sarko Plank, I've given this dude a 9 just because they did a lot of effort on him. Maybe even a 9.5, or maybe not that high because he's not that interesting, but I don't know. They did a really good job on him. As far as this particular Ezra figure, man, maybe a 3. I mean, that's a really low score too because it is just all bad. Now, this particular Kanan, he's also from that same assortment. These come in like a wave together. These 3 parts build-a-weapon. And the only new figure in this wave is that particular guy right there, Sarko Plank. Now this figure right here, he's got a little bit better of a paint job, but I'm not sure. That should be painted all the way brown, all the way. There shouldn't be any light tan in there, in between. That's really the only major issue with this. A little bit of a, what is that? It's where the mold comes out. Anyway, but yeah, this particular Kanan, other than that little thing, he's perfect. Nothing wrong with him, and he looks great. They nailed it, and other than that little thing, and Tampograph could be slightly better. It's slightly faded, just ever so slightly, and it's a little bit uneven. I'm gonna have to. I wish his blaster came out. That'd be cool, but this is a mission series figure technically, just repacked into the Force Awakens. But I'm gonna give him, about the right eye is a little bit too far over this way. But in general, especially for kid, I mean, this is pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna give this dude about a 9 because they did really good with him. There's no wash or any kind of that stuff on him really, but kind of maybe. But there's actually, looks like there might be a paint error right there. Trying to get that little paint off. There's gray paint for some reason. I guess that came from his arms. So I'm gonna have to give him like a 8.5, I guess. Okay, so now as far as the build a weapon, a lot of people don't like these, but then again, hardly anybody reviews them. Now this particular thing came with Ezra, and it's pretty cool. But now I really don't. As far as the build of weapons, okay, basically these mission series figures were $5.99 before Force Awakens came out. They decided to give them an extra accessory so they could jack the price up to $6.99, I guess. Now, as a retailer, I sell these, and I've seen kids look at these, like 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, stuff like that. The first thing when they take these out of the package, 90% of them go straight for the Build-A-Weapon. What is this? This is so cool. This is awesome. They love these things. Absolutely love them. Almost to the point that they don't even play with the figure. They want to know what this is about. And they get curious and they want to put it together and all that stuff. And yeah, so because I've given these to my nephews, my neighbors, all sorts of different people, and yeah. So as far as Hasbro goes, they did a for collectors. It's not so great, but for kids, which these are pretty much marketed towards, this particular set, these aren't the collector's series like the $20 ones. These are they hit it right on the nose for that. And I actually somehow forgot how to put this together, I think. Okay, now, oh yeah, this goes into here. Okay, so you want to plug this into this. Wait, I think it goes the other way. No, it goes in that way. It only goes in one way. There's only one way to get it in. Oh, I was going to show you that thing with Ezra, but for some reason I think I'm doing this wrong. I don't know why. But I don't see how there any other way you can do it. So it's like basically like a giant cannon. Now that would have a lot of play value. So if you're young, this is a pretty good deal. But personally, for collectors, because they kind of took away the super articulated line from us, they most of the people in recent years have been super articulated Black Series quality figures with lots of articulation, and a lot of people were kind of mad that they took that away, but they didn't really take it away. They made it an exclusive and to Walmart, but there's only a few figures. They don't make as many of them, but they are coming back in 2018. And it was never their intention to get rid of them. They just needed to kind of rearrange their priority because of the movies coming out. And their cash cow are these right here. This is the primary line. It has nothing to do really with anything else. They never had any intention of taking it away. That's why they made an exclusive for the time being. They didn't know if Force Awakens was going to be a hit or a bomb because it's been so long since they made a Star Wars movie. So they're coming back, and they said that the new Episode 8 figures, even in the basic assortment, are going to. Well, they didn't. Yeah, I think they did. They said that they're going to have more articulation. So, like Darth Vader had waist articulation. Jyn Erso had twistable wrists. K2SO had a double jointed neck. So they are adding articulation here and there when needed, and they're probably going to continue to do that. I'm hoping that the Episode 8 figures will have at least 6 to 8 points of articulation, even in the basic assortment, which is what these are. Now, I'm getting lost here. Okay, so here's this guy's weapon. If this is the only one you have, it's kind of hard for him to hold, but he does hold it. But it is a build-a weapon. I think it probably hold it better in this hand. He's got a tighter grip. Yeah, I would assume. Paint on these hands are very yeah, he can barely hold this thing. It's too heavy for him. Is very a lot of these figures comes off easy. So that's one downside. So this guy's weapon it's not that great. Now if he holds it this way, it's a lot easier. It fits right in his hand real easy. And he can stand. Whoops. That just happened because I knocked the table. There you go. So now for Kanan's accessory. This looks like it fits in his hand perfect. But Kanan is very thin, lightweight figure. So it's not something you can't really stand him up with it. You can sit him down with it though. So there it is for that. And finally, Ezra's this thing does, I think it comes apart. Yeah, should. This comes out too. You could try it like that. Yeah, his hands are so small. I'm not sure he could hold this thing. Like a rocket launcher. Clip it on his arm. I don't know. I mean, it's not what it's for. It's really just supposed to be part of the build-a-weapon. I don't know if you could really make any other uses out of this. But So, wait, it goes the other way. No, it goes that way. And then get the legs. There's another piece. This is turning into be a long video. But that's what happens when you do 3 at one time. It's still the only thing I can find that goes in there. So there's no other plugs. No other pieces that would plug in there. You could technically almost put this in there. Barely. Maybe. It's hard to do because I can't see what I'm doing. Because I got trying to look through the camera and do it. You could probably find a way to get that in there if you really wanted to. I'm never even taking this apart. So there we go again. That. So that's about it for this. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way it's supposed to go. There's no other way to get this together, so yeah. Put it in like that. It's kind of a fail in my opinion, but it's kind of why. It's a real question. I could have done better, especially with the way, I mean, the shield, the tripod thing with the shield, that's a good idea. Now this thing combining together, this whole big part, this big jumbo looking bumblebee looking thing, that looks just kind of dumb. If it had more, if it looked a little bit more like a cannon, because there's just a line there, and it just looks weird. Kind of like a drum oil barrel, or I don't know. But as far as this thing goes, I'm gonna say that's like a 5. I mean, that's pretty much a fail. That's it had potential, but they failed. And as far as his paint job, that's a fail. So Kanan gets an 8.5. Sarko gets a 9. As far as the actual figures themselves, the Build-A-Weapon is a 5. Ezra is a 3 because he has horrible paint applications. And that's all I'm going to say about these. I'm moving on to the next thing. I will see you later.